the screen. Okay, there are people behind the screen. There are teachers that have a particular perspective, because essentially there's no right and wrong. It's all about perspective, and spiritual knowledge is not like a sort of a direct sort of ascending curve. You can't just gain knowledge and assimilate it. It doesn't work like that. With spiritual knowledge, it's more like a circle, so you're constantly reflecting, meditating on the different perspectives you can see, for example, a particular shloka on, or a particular, a verse from the scriptures like the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita. So having those different perspectives, it gives a deeper understanding of the philosophy. And we may, for example, by our experience, by our upbringing, we may not have that perspective, and whereas when someone else comes into the equation, they can provide a different perspective, and that can elevate our consciousness and give us a deeper understanding. So that's, again, it points back to having association of people.
Yeah, just to that point, for example, not just spiritual knowledge, but also when it comes to material knowledge, you have a question, or there's a question that needs to be answered. You need a panel of people from different backgrounds and experiences to come to perhaps not a solution, but to discuss this topic. It might be just me with my book, but if I don't share this knowledge, we bounce back and forth ideas. We might not advance together. And of course, they might have a question, and I said, okay, let me back to a book. But they might also ask to someone else who are more senior to help them clarify certain questions, or direct them to other people that might have the right answer or knowledge.
Yeah, and also,
yes,
sorry.
Please,
please go ahead.
Yeah, to add to this, Prabhuji, like spiritual knowledge is different from material knowledge. It cannot be realized just by mere speculation. If somebody says, okay, I just go and sit under a tree and I will read all the books which are available in the library. Yeah, but you might, spend lifetime after lifetime, but you would never get to know the truth, because the Lord is realized only in the association and by the mercy of one of the Lord himself and his representative, that is the self-realized souls, who are our spiritual masters. So until we sit in a humble state of mind, and we are willing to learn in the association by serving those self-realized souls, it is not possible to, reach our goal or our destination of self-realization and actually awakening the love of Godhead. So, if there is association is available, we might as well utilize it rather than wanting to reinvent the wheel. So, if that facility is available in this lifetime, why not jump and avail it?
Okay, thank you all. I think let's move on to if any other against points are there. Ananta Prabhu, I believe that has answered your question in terms of connection, different perspectives, and much more senior engagement, basically. Thank you. Narayan Keshav Prabhuji, over to you.
Thank you, Harini. Thank you so much. Actually, I listen to classes online. I listen to kathas. I listen to kirtan. It's so blissful. It's so blissful. And then when I get fed up of listening classes, katha, I listen to Bollywood songs. Relax nicely, and then I can go back if I want to, or I can just switch off, go out. I have so much flexibility. I can do whatever I want, and I know Krishna loves me so much because I'm having so much fun, Krishna consciousness. But then one day I thought I'll go to temple, just to see how everybody else is doing. So I came to temple, and then nobody spoke to me, nobody spoke to me. And then I was enjoying the kirtans, nice kirtan going on. And I found some kartals, and I thought I will join in the kirtan. I picked the kartals up and I started playing. I was enjoying myself. And then next thing I know, somebody came from behind me, grabbed the kartals out of my hand. And then, it was so embarrassing. And all my peace and the bliss, it just disappeared. And I'm thinking, I was enjoying myself so much at home, enjoying Krishna consciousness, but I come to temple, and why do I feel so agitated? And then I never came back, for a long time. So, what should I do? I don't know what to do. I wanted to come there, but I found the association really didn't help me. I found more bliss listening to, online.
Sorry to hear that, Narayan Keshav Prabhuji. Thanks for making the point. Nityashri Mataji, would you like to answer? Prabhuji's.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Narayan Krishna Prabhu, you made quite a valid point. You know, I would, and also, you know, you're quite right that when we are listening to, you know, sitting in our own house, listening in our own comfortable world, why make the effort to come? Because sometimes you might not get all the, you know, the experiences, as you say, you know, what we had hoped for. Now, I was thinking of the, you know, the conception that we have in mind, you know, when people come to the temple, they have this conception that, you know, they're looking for that perfection in the devotees that they see. But actually, you know, everyone is on a journey. There might be one or two pure devotees in the congregation, but most of the others, like ourselves, they are on a journey. So some of them are ahead of us, some of them are behind us, some of them are where we are. But you know, in the association of people, it is always easy of like-minded people to achieve the goals. Like for example, you know, if I was going on a pilgrimage, for example, or if I was, rather than going on a pilgrimage, if I wanted to, you know, go on a run, or I wanted to, you know, go on a cycling tour, by myself, I might only just be able to go 1 or 2 miles, and I might think, okay, I've done enough. Yeah. But if I'm going with a group of people who are having the same goal and the destination, somebody is doing 5 miles, somebody is doing 10 miles, I get inspired by them. And you know, when you are in the association of people, both the quality as well as the quantity that you are able to achieve, that enhances. So coming back to the question of, you know, whether I'm getting a bad experience. So one is, you know, one has to be a little bit patient in, you know, when we are coming, because this is not an instant transformation. Transformation takes time. So when we take a remedy, for example, if I'm diseased and, you know, I've got jaundice, and if somebody gives me a sugar candy, the sugar candy will remain, you know, would not taste good. It would taste bitter. But if I continue to persevere, as the disease of material affliction that we have got imperfect senses, you know, we have got a propensity to cheat, we live in an illusioned world, and we have got a tendency to commit errors. So these are our material afflictions. If we are prepared, you know, to be perseverant and take the time to be in the associations, we gradually will find that, you know, our hearts are transformed, and the diseases of material affliction, they go away. So, you know, the peace that we are looking for, it might not come instantly, but it will eventually. If we have time, Harini Mataji, I can share a short story here. Do we have time?
Not at the minute, Mataji. Maybe towards the end when we have questions, we
Okay.
can come back to it to stress the point more. Does the Maya panel want to debate any of the points that Nitishri Mataji has raised? Anybody in Maya panel?
I mean, if I can continue from there, I was going to say that I'm a very respectful member of the community. And I felt that, did I come here to be insulted? And I was actually put off by the whole organization, because whoever is in forefront is representing the whole of organization. So I just felt that, you know, there has to be better attitude towards new people coming in. Why didn't anybody speak to me when I came? You know, like it seemed like it didn't really matter I was there or not. I wasn't needed. You know, there's no need for me to be there. It wouldn't make any difference to them. So, you know, is there no need for new people? I mean, are everybody happy with what they have already? So why should I make the effort to come down, give my precious time? I could have gone played golf or something. You know, why did I come down? You know, I can't work it out. I need some answers.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for making that point. In general, have you got any kind of advice or anything in terms of Vaishnava etiquette towards other devotees or new people coming to the temple, devotee panel?
Yeah, Prabhuji, you know, I think you made a very good point here, that many people, you know, when they come for this, you know, temple, they come with this attitude, you know, that my ego should be satisfied. You know, people should look after me. They should treat me with respect. They should, like we are going to any other party where we've been invited. And how come, you know, people did not take notice of me? Why didn't they give me a special place? Why didn't they make me sit nicely? Why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? But at the end of the day, what we are looking here is we are just trying to feed our self-ego, you know, the ego which is around me and mine. But as the transformation in our life happens, when we are actually associating with the devotees and hearing to the lectures which are being heard, or we start to chant and we associate more and we follow the process, which is a gradual process. It is not an overnight process, but it is a gradual process. And once we take to the process very seriously, what tends to happen is our tendency, it starts to shift from a me and a mine to a God-centeredness. So rather than always thinking, will this benefit me if I go there? Will people give me the attention or not? Or, when that shifts from, okay, I'm going there to serve the other devotees, my focus shifts. I'm doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. And once that focus or that shifts, then I think, one is more at peace, and the expectation we have from others that changes from, rather than always expecting what have they done for me, it shifts from what have I done for them? Have I done anything to serve them better? What can I do differently? Like the experience that I had, that I didn't feel welcome as I should have. If I see another devotee there, I should do better than what I was treated for. So if that is the attitude of everyone who comes, somebody's been coming for 6 months, somebody's been coming for a year, somebody's been coming for longer. And I think all of us here, we can relate, when we first went to the temple, somebody or the other has influenced us in a right and a positive way. That's where we've stuck around. So I think that is the same attitude, we should carry forward. And if there are any mistakes, we can always, discuss it. And I'm sorry you've had that sort of an experience, but we can always come along and we can think about it, in another, I would say, setup or another time. But we will definitely like to address your problems, and we would like to welcome you with our whole heart.
Thank you. Nankesha Prabhuji, do you want to say something? Or
I was going to say, yes, Mataji speaks very nicely. And thank you so much. I am convinced, but I'll have to have a word with my ego later on, see what it says.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll leave you with the private discussion of your ego. Veer Chandra Prabhuji and Samantra Mataji, would you like to add anything in general, just on how people feel when they come to the temple, just in general?
Yeah, obviously, I think it's more to do with like an institutional problem, right? So there's 3 different levels. There's the institution, there's the process, and then there's the result. So when we do something, we often do something for ourselves. We may be disheartened by what we experience, but we shouldn't forget why we're there. We're there to get a particular result. We are there to get a result. We are there to connect with the Lord, with God. And if we're there, and if we really want to connect with God, and that's our desire, He'll make it possible. But we need to stick around for Him to make it possible. So that's what I'd say, is to stick around, make it, allow Him to make it possible for you, and at the end of the day, it's all about our desire. If we desire it, then we'll stay 100%.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for that. Okay, so next shot of arrows by the Maya panel. We'll go to Madhurima Mataji this time. Thank you.
Okay, so what I want to say, I tried going to the temple once, but as soon as I went there, people everywhere, left, right, center, they started giving me advice. Do this way, do this thing that way. Oh, you can't do it this way. I'm a grown-up person. I don't need anyone else to tell me what to do and how to do things like that. I don't like that people giving me advice, and I didn't even ask for. I want to live the life I want to live. I don't want people telling me you can't watch this, or you can't eat this, you have to do certain things this way, you can't do that. I want to make my own decisions. I don't want everyone else to make decisions for me. And if I want to spend my time doing something, watching something, I don't want people to tell me, oh, you shouldn't be watching these things. These are not good for that. So why devotees, they have to make a decision for us. We should be able to make our own decisions. We should be free to, if they say we all have free will, so we should have our free choices to make our own decisions. They should not be making decisions for us.
How does it make you feel, Mataji? How does it make you feel?
Just like I would reiterate how Narayan Keshav felt like that. So I was very disappointed when I went there, and I was told, like, people were all over like, oh, you can't dress it this way. Or I felt like I shouldn't be coming there again, because I don't like people telling me what to do or how to lead my own life. So I want to do my own, make my own choices. So I felt that it's better to stay away. It's better to just stay away from those kind of people who are just telling me, rather than outside people. They are better. They just take you how you are, rather than they don't try to change you. But here I felt the devotees, they try to change you straight away. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for that. So this time, the devotee panel, we go to Samantra Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry to hear that you were feeling like that. Yeah, it can be sometimes a bit challenging, like going into the temple and some people trying to tell you, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. But I think we should have to maybe step back and reflect about the suggestions that are given. Sometimes what we have to understand is that people who have been attending the temple, coming to the temple, have been there for many years, and they have a bit of better knowledge how things are done. For example, it doesn't mean that we have to listen to all the advice. Maybe we should take some of the advice, whatever is okay for us to take at that moment, where is because all of us have our own spiritual journey, and we should have to adjust it to how we adjust it to our own life. For example, how we bake a cake. We have a recipe and we have to follow it, right, in order for the cake to work. Sometimes you can make slightly tweaks. For example, if you're vegan and it says to add milk, you can add almond milk, or you can add a different element, but it will help you to get to the end result. But we have to understand that the overall instructions, or the overall advice that is there for us to help us achieve our spiritual goal. But it doesn't mean that we should not make slight tweaks in order to help us to make your own journey more comfortable. But it's like we were saying earlier today, like we have teachers, or there are senior people that have experienced this, these situations. So sometimes listening to this advice will help us to move a bit, a bit faster. It will help. Will allow us to not go through certain hurdles or obstacles. I don't know if that answers your question, Mataji.
Yeah, I'd like to also add maybe a few points, if there's any questions to come back from Madhurima Mataji.
Or anyone else in the Maya panel.
I'll listen to you first. Maybe you go ahead. What you want to say?
So someone just made some really good points, and I agree, sometimes there are challenges. But I think it's, when I first came into practicing, the principles, and I had certain principles at the start, and then I had principles subsequent to many years being in, Hinduism, so to speak. So at the start, for example, I used to eat meat, but then I understood the philosophy. And then I understood that the principle behind the philosophy around why I shouldn't eat meat, for example, and then the principle is what was encouraging me to change. So that was the focus, the principle. And based on those principles, I have certain values, and values always change over time, as you become more spiritually mature, because there's an element of spiritual maturity as well. So that changes. So for example, when you have a child, if you tell a child what to do, they're going to be upset. But when you tell an adult what to do, they'll be less upset because they understand why they're doing it, Whereas when someone's a child and the parent's telling them, they're trying to look at the overall long-term benefit for that child, right? So they're thinking about the principles of being applied. Although they may be distasteful at the start, but the benefit is good at the end. So that's actually different. This is a different mode. So we call those the three modes. So the mode of goodness is more related to, is bitter at the start. So we may feel a bit uncomfortable that we have to change this thing about ourselves. But in the long term, we actually benefit because there's a spiritual benefit to that. We may not see it, but because we're in this spiritual process, we should understand that there is a benefit. There is a benefit. There is through the practice. And then as time goes by, when our principles change, our values also change. So my value is now, I don't eat meat anymore. I do not eat meat anymore. And that took many years. But in the end, I changed. And it was others that influenced me. And they were trying to influence me because of the principles based in the Gita. So there were when they explained it and I read the Gita and I thought, oh wow, actually I shouldn't be eating meat. And then I understood I should stop eating meat. And then I made that transition. And then my principle now is I don't kill animals. And my value is I'm compassionate to other beings. So that it sort of changes over time. So, and that's always natural. It's difficult at the start, but there's always some benefit that's received from it. Thank you.
So where's the point of accepting people how they are as they are? So we all come from our own backgrounds. We all are very like doing good for in our jobs as well. We don't like to be told off by people that we coming to the temple and we getting told, maybe told by the other people how to lead our lives. Aren't we leading our lives already in a good way? So I don't know, it might have taken you time to understand, but do you think it's the good thing to straight away people are coming and you start telling them, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. So there are so many like advices given straight away.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, can I just, for one moment, I just want to kind of make an announcement before you answer that question, devotee panel. Dear devotees, the audience who are watching us, there's a question answer. If you want to raise any question and answer, there's a slido.com, which I have sent in your chat message. There is a code, so please keep sending us questions, and whichever question gets the maximum votes, that will get put forward to the panel. Thank you. Yeah, please go on, Samantha Mataji.
Yes, I think I agree with you, Madhurima Mataji. Like, I think perhaps it's not the best approach when someone joins the temple, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I can say from experience, like I'm not Indian, so I'm from Latin America. So sometimes when you join the temple and you see like, oh, you have to chant 16 rounds, you have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, you have to wear saris, and you have to, follow this can be very overwhelming. But I think we have to, not all the devotees are like that. All the devotees are very compassionate, understanding, and very patient. And they try to guide you slowly, how small changes can help in your life at the beginning. For example, perhaps, instead of waking up now at 9 in the morning, I started waking up slightly early, half an hour early, slowly. So now I wake up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and try to incorporate more spiritual things in my life. For example, when it comes to reading books, for example, at the beginning I had no taste for reading philosophy, but I started reading pastimes. So it was quite more enjoyable for me, reading like a story, something a bit more drama, and like around that. But slowly I started like developing a taste for the philosophy. Or sometimes people will say, why you like that? Why do you act like that? But slowly you understand maybe that behavior was not the right behavior to have at the temple. So just also by observing all the devotees, understanding what's the etiquette. I hope that makes sense.
Mataji, just to kind of add to Madhurima Mataji's point, isn't this a general advice? I mean, I think what we're trying to say is that is be compassionate and empathetic to all the new people that come in, make them feel more included. Would you not say that as a general, as a devotee, to the devotee panel, basically, just to the Madhurima Mataji's point?
Sorry.
Can I answer that question?
Yes,
Prabhu?
of course.
Yeah, and Mataji. Going back to the question that Madhurima Mataji asked about, why should we actually follow these principles? Like I can say from my own experience, when I prescribe medication to anyone, we give them both the benefits and the side effects, and also tell them, there are certain precautions that you need to take. If you do not take the precautions, the remedy would not work properly. So people sometimes, they are put off and they keep on debating whether I should take it, I should not take it, not take it. And they might actually lose valuable time there. But if, at the end of the day, as a doctor, I cannot make that decision for them. I give them an informed choice. It is up to them now to take that remedy or to leave it. But nobody will know whether they have benefited until they've taken that medication. So similar is, when we come to, the temple, and there is a way to progress. And the way to make a fast forward progress is that you follow all the regulative principles, but you also take, you don't not only do the do's, like the chanting and the hearing and the association, but you also refrain from certain things like refraining from meat, gambling, onion and garlic, and offering prasad and eating only that. because those are the things which actually enhance your spiritual experience and make you progress quickly. So if the whole remedy is not just with taking the medication, it's also following the precautions. So similarly, both the do's and the don'ts, they're both important.
Okay, I agree with what you're saying, but in schools as well, we have got children who have got behavioral problems. So what we do with there as well, what we say, we don't try to correct them straight away. The policy is that we need to connect before we start correcting other people. So here as well, I think even in the temple as well, so it should be like that. We should feel connected first, rather than people start correcting us straight away, start telling us what to do, how to do things. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. We should feel that connection first. So I think that connection should be there first before
I totally agree with you, Mataji. When people come first, that's why, this is a process, and we put out, this is you here first, you come and associate with it, and you see the difference and the transformation in the lives of the people who have been coming. If you like the recipe and you like the prescription, you take it. So you make an informed choice. Nobody forces that on you. Similar to, but for people who are coming, some of them are more eager than the others. So for people who are more eager than the others, we see that they are able to follow and take to the process very quickly. Others take a lot of time. And I am myself an example of that I've been coming to the temple for 14 years, but I only took initiation 2.5 years ago, unless I was fully convinced. I think that is the way it should be. So it's not a forced process. Once you are ready, then you go for it and you take the leap.
Thank you, Mataji. I think in general there is a thing, isn't it? We have to make that connection. We have to welcome people with smile. I think that's what we're trying to kind of say in general. Those who are managing the programs or trying to make connections. Wouldn't you say that, Samantha or Birchandra Prabhuji, that you would kind of make connections, welcome people with a smile, make them feel, make them wanting to come more and more, and that's when they get connected.
Yeah, I think that's right. So the point that Madhurya Mataji said, like, obviously it's very upsetting that someone treated you like that. They don't really possibly even know you, like, and they just told you, hey, you need to change these things. I think if anybody spoke to me like that, I'd be pretty upset too. And I've made the transformation myself because I've had the connection with people, like in the temple community, and I understand they've explained things. They've been very patient with me. And so for example, like Samantha was saying, she's from a different background altogether. Like the cultural difference here is quite big, and so it was a big transition for her. But the devotees, it's the support that we got from the temple, the community. The community made the effort for me to help her transition, to understand the culture. I didn't explain anything at all, so we had like a different experience, but yeah, I'm very sorry you had that experience. But our experience was very different, and my wife's wearing a sari today, so. Yeah.
And she looks beautiful.
Yeah, we said it both together. Thank you so much. I think there's a general advice going out there. Nitishri Mataji, if you'd agree with me that we have that connection, that beautiful statement with Birchandra Prabhuji made, that we have that connection, we make that connection, we make people welcome, we give that love out and affection to everyone, so that they come and be with us again as a community. Okay, let's move on again further in terms of Maya panel. Narayan Keshav Prabhuji, over to you in terms of next point. Prabhuji, you're on mute if we can't hear you.
I'm going to say, is the question 4 we're on now?
It's on the third round. We're on the third round.
Are we okay? I'm in question 5 already. Wow, it's going so fast.
No, you have skipped the 4th, ma'am.
Yeah,
I think I was on the 4th question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're on this 4th question. Okay, I think time is running fast. So yeah, let's. Okay, Radharani Mataji, over to you we're still in the 2nd set of questions.
Yes, look at.
Sorry, just 1 minute, Radharani Mataji. So for the 3rd set of questions, can Ananta Prabhu and Narayan Keshav Prabhuji, I think we have to tackle that together. So I would rather have you say your point together. If that makes sense. Okay, Radharani Mataji, over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. I've been coming to the temple for a couple of months, and I have got lots of grievances already. There's so many people there who don't agree with me, and there's so many disagreements, and I don't want to come at all to the temple now. And that has come to this point now that I'm not going to be able to do my services, my sevas, which have been allocated to me. And not having been able to do my seva is going to take all the bliss and the joy I was getting out of doing those services in the temple. So can the panel help me, devotee panel help me with my problem?
Okay, Nitishri Mataji, would you want to answer that question, please?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that you've had a poor experience, that that you cannot serve as nicely as you would have hoped for. I guess, in our day-to-day life as well, outside of the temple as well, in our workplaces, in our jobs, wherever, the idea is to be there and to make, and we do recognize that people in any institution, an institution is not made with just the bricks and the mortar, but it's actually made with the people who are there, who make that institution. So on a personal level, when we are going into a job, we want to make the best of it. We want to still have our salaries at the end of the month. We want to make it a fulfilling experience in whatever we do. But because everyone's personalities are different, clashes are bound to happen. But within a spiritual community, the difference is that that if we are working together for a common goal or a common destination, then the journey becomes easier for everyone. Now, Prabhupada gives an example that if somebody is in a clear lake, they throw a stone, it creates ripples. Even if 100 stones are thrown at the same spot, it will just have a very uniform ripple. But if you are throwing stones at two different places, the ripples, they tend to clash. So but if there is Krishna in the center of our lives, and if the goal is to serve rather than being served and serving my ego, but to serve, then we would say that conflicts, they tend to resolve. Because even if in a Krishna conscious family, like we see things, okay, we're putting Krishna in the center, somebody saying I want to eat this, somebody saying I want to eat this. But if you're making the prasad just for Krishna's pleasure, then everyone accepts it as prasad, then conflicts in the house also reduce. So similarly, in a devotee community, our idea is to get the best out of each other. There is if you look at a flock of geese, if you ever see them, they always travel in a arrow formation or an arrow kind of a shape. And the effort that they put in to fly, it said that 71% of the effort is reduced because the flapping of the wings of one bird gives an uplift to the other birds. And every bird that kind of drags out of place comes back immediately, because it's also getting the benefit of going to the same destination with less effort. So yes, there are conflicts there because people's personalities are different, everyone has come from a different background. But if we focus less on the obstacles that we are facing and focus more on the goal that we are getting to, because without the association of devotees, it is very difficult to reach our destination. There is a lot of transformation which happens in our lives, which is very subtle, but it does happen. So if you're just patient and give others a chance as well, and rather than always thinking, I am not being served, let me serve others as well. So the subtle transformation happens slowly, and we would see that we are more at peace with ourselves. I don't know if that helps answer your question, or maybe Samantha Mataji and Chandra Prabhu can add.
So let's just check. Radharani Mataji, does that answer your question, or you want?
No, it doesn't answer my question completely, because I think these services are voluntary, and we are all just doing the seva. Seva means just doing without any remuneration or anything in return. And you just can't be just wasting your time. It seems like that I'm going to the temple and doing cooking, or making garlands or doing any seva. I'm always getting flack, like they say in slang language, in day-to-day language, like we say. There's always chip on the shoulders on the senior people in the temple, that they're always not happy with my garland making. This should have been this centimeter. This your petal is not nicely done in the garland. And for my cooking also, they have got so many things to say, and the list goes on and on. But I've just tried to be patient for the last couple of months, but I have seen that I can't just carry on like this anymore.
Sam, Mataji, and Veerachandra Prabhuji, over to you.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Mataji. That must be very tough to hear, to be honest. But this reminded me of an example that a very senior member of the community has shared with us in the past. So at the temple we have, where in the temple in London, they have this big machine to peel potatoes. So normally when you put the potatoes inside this machine, they start to crash between each other because there are so many potatoes in the same machine. But what's the purpose of the machine? To get clean. So even though all the potatoes are there and they're clashing at the end, all the potatoes will come out clean. So it's the same as the spiritual process. Like we are in the temple, getting there, trying to get clean. And the more we try to get involved in services, we get purified. There are a lot of like negative feelings that may come out, which sometimes can sound a bit weird, right? Like I'm going there to perform a spiritual activity, but I come out feeling negative. Why is that? It's because when you go there, like so many of your how we call it, like imperfections or things that we have to progress on, like, are being cleansed. And I think one point that we have to take into account is that perhaps that feedback that we're receiving is something that we have to work on. I love to make garlands, and I have received comments also like, oh, you know what, like those petals you put close to the deity's face are very big, so the deities are not very happy. So sometimes it's hard to hear. It's like, oh, but I made them with so much love and I went to buy the best flowers. Sometimes we need to hear the feedback. It's like, you know what, next time I make it better. So sometimes we have to battle our feedback and understand that, yeah, it's going to make us more humble, and it's also going to help us reach our goal together, like achieve our spiritual goal.
Only thing is, Mataji, I thought that the people who were practicing your Krishna consciousness already in the temple for so many number of years, they were more humbler, because I was a new one. I expected that. I understand that it will take me time to become humble, but the ones who have been in the mission for many, many years, I thought they will be really, really humble and nice souls, but I didn't find that. So that has really disheartened me, but I do understand where you're coming from. So I'll make sure next time I come to the temple, I decide to come to the temple, I'll be sitting with you.
That's great.
Yeah, Mataji, I'll be happy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Radharani Mataji and Samantha Mataji as well. Okay, so for the next set of Mayavi questions, we'll go to Narayan Keshav Prabhuji first and then to Ananta Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. I have another complaint. And you're probably wondering, do you do anything right? I'm sure you do things right, but I just haven't found them yet. I'm in process. Yeah, similar to the previous question, I was thinking that people in ISKCON especially, they're doing so much chanting and following so many regulations. I expect to see halos, in your head. Where's the halos? I can't see any halos. I'm expecting such good examples. People, super calm, polite, so friendly, welcoming. But then I found, are people not come today or something, Where is these people? They're very similar to the people I meet all the time. What is the difference? I have got friends out there, who are more polite, calmer, and some amazing friends, they're really amazing people. They have some amazing habits that, and they're always there, do anything for you. So what can I learn from these people? What can they teach me? When there's people outside, I can learn so many things from and become a better person, because I want to be a good person. But people outside were teaching me better habits than in the temple. So what can I learn from the temple and take a
Thank you, Narayan Prabhuji. Ananta Prabhuji, before we come to answer the question, Ananta Prabhuji, would you want to make your point as well, further to Narayan Prabhuji's point?
Yeah, my point is also the same, not different to this, that people are judgmental. Like they say, okay, right, when they see, oh, I'm just started new, coming to the temple, they have a high expectation from the day one that, oh, he's going to perform the duties, he's going to perform everything according to the standards, he's going to do everything according the way they want it, either it's my way or no way. So that's my point, is adding to Narayan Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. I think it's more about attitude and behavior and being judgmental, Prabhuji, in terms of the devotees in the community. So how would you kind of tackle that question? I mean, over to you, Birchandra Prabhuji and Samantha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Narayan Prabhu and Ananta Prabhu, for your question. Yeah, so I think when it comes to people that we have outside of the temple, so we have friends, we have similar interests to those people. We have similar habits, possibly. We like similar things to them. And I think that's essentially what friendship brings, right? It brings together you because you have similar interests, similar dislikes, likes, and people that you don't have similar interests to, they're not your friends, basically, right? Whereas in a temple community or, any institution, so when you go to work, you may not have the same interests as other people in your work, in your office. But the purpose is you're working in the institution for a result. You're working to progress in your career, to develop some kind of skill, and you're not always going to get along with them. And the same in an institution, like a temple community, where there are many people of different race backgrounds, different interests, different age backgrounds, different experiences, how they've been nurtured, how they've been raised by their parents, what kind of principles, values they consider important. They may have different political views. So similarly, my point is that we have people from different communities, different interests that are coming together for the same purpose, to become closer to God, to have a connection with God. And in the process, you're going to have clashes, right? You're going to have a clash because you don't have those similar interests and likes, but you will also find some people have those same interests and likes as you, and you can make friends with those people and move forward in your spiritual life amongst those people. So it's not, from my experience, it's not always the case. For example, age is often a big barrier. Someone that's very older to me, they may have different purpose in life, whereas I'm much younger, the focus is a bit different, but I'm still trying to practice my spiritual life, and they're trying to practice their spiritual life, and we're trying to do it together, but we might not be at the same pace, we might not have the same understanding, and we may not have the same desire, the same urgency, and that's okay. Yeah.
Just to add to that point, also something that it's important to understand about the reference to the halos above our head. Like, we have to understand that we're come to the temple because we have a goal, but also we are there in our own personal journey. We are all there suffering with something, from something. It may be some personal material stuff. It could be some qualities we need to improve, but we are all there and we all need work. So I think coming to the temple with the expectation that, everyone there is a saint and they have no problems, I think that's the wrong expectation. And I think that happens very frequently. Like, when newcomers join, they think that, these people, saints, everyone. And then there's a big disappointment when they realize that it's not, because it's true. We are all humans, but we're here together in this process to work towards a certain goal, and we need to help and support each other.
And I think this on analogies, like when you go to so for example, if we're sick, right, we go to receive treatment, we may go to a hospital, but we can't expect everyone in the hospital to be cured, but just because someone's a doctor or someone's a consultant, someone's a surgeon, they also may have problems, right? There are other sick people that are there. So everyone's there for the same reason, to get better.
We're all patients.
We're all patients there. So, we're all, the purpose is the same, although the different backgrounds, we have different diseases, but, we're there to get better. So, like, it's an institution, it's a similar environment. Everyone's trying to get better.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Before I get to Narayan Keshav Prabhuji and Ananta Prabhuji, I just want to kind of make an announcement. If you like what you're seeing, audience, please rate us. I've sent a link in the chat. So please click on the link and it will take you a Slido. Please continue to rate us so that we understand how we are doing and we make improvements via feedback. So the link again is in the chat. Please click on the link to rate us. Okay, thank you. Narayan Keshav Prabhuji and Ananta Prabhuji, does that answer your questions?
Yeah, I wanted to say, you know, when you look at people who have been there for a while, and because we're talking a lot about taking medicine and precaution. So you're looking at, okay, this person has been taking treatment. So let's look at it like a treatment as we're speaking. For 5 years, they're taking medicine, they're taking precautions, but what has that medicine precaution done for them? You know, you think, if I take this medicine for 5 years, I want to be here. I want to be in this position. Now, this person doesn't seem to be cured. He's still got the same disease, material disease, whatever you want to call it. So when I'm thinking, then why should I take this medicine? Might be bad side effects. I don't know. There are a lot of side effects. I can't eat onion garlic. I can't go out. I can't drink, things like that. There's a lot of side effects to this medicine.
Can't play lottery.
Well, I can't play the lottery.
Yeah.
So why should I take this medicine if I don't see any cure? Cure with the medicine. Why should I take that treatment?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Narayan Keshav Prabhu. Like, for example, in the scriptures, it basically says that we will have a lower taste for things until we don't get a higher taste, In the Gita, it says, Param Drishta Devotee. So we need to develop the higher taste, So if you have a taste for alcohol, going out, to like a bar or something, you have that taste until you develop a higher taste. You develop an interest in something that's a bit more, has more substance to it, that gives more happiness, to feel a bit more fulfilled from inside. So I think the point I'm trying to make here is basically that we need to develop ourselves on a particular journey. So we're on this journey together. The destination is a spiritual path, and sometimes we need to give up certain things to develop a higher taste. So until we don't do that, we can't get there. And there may be people that are not willing to do that. They may be afraid that they may miss out, like FOMO, right? You've heard of FOMO, fear of missing out. So there may be people that have this FOMO that, okay, I'm going to miss out if I'm going to miss out with my friends, if I'm not drinking with them, or miss out with if I'm not doing this with other people, like a different community. But from my experience, my friend circle has changed quite a lot over the years. I have different interests, and I've realized that, maybe they're not really my friends, because, I don't want to drink anymore. And if they're not accepting me for someone that doesn't want to drink anymore, then maybe they're not really my friends.
Yeah, but my point is that I want a good example, so it can encourage me to give up. But if I don't see a good example, the people have actually had some benefit from this, then how can I give up? I might be left in no man's land.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So I'll just say something, and then I'll let Nitya Sri Mataji say something, because she's got also the experience from a doctor's background. So, for example, when I go to work, right, I may have some challenges. I may not get along with people, but because of my practice of Krishna consciousness, practice of the philosophy, I become more patient. I become a better leader. I become more compassionate towards other people. So those qualities are coming out. So others are benefiting, and it's a small change. It's been described like it's not something that's instantaneous. It's something that's happening over time. Sometimes it happens quicker for people, but sometimes it takes much longer. But there is transformation that's happening over time. So that's what I'd say. Those qualities, the Dharma is changing me, how I perceive things. My principles are changing, my values are changing, and it does take time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Okay, and so you're saying that I should spend more time with the devotees, and then I'll see the difference.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So this is there's a saying, right? Iron sharpens iron. So if you hang around with the right people, and there's even from a Western sort of point of view, like, you are the people that you hang around with. That's what they say, right? So if you want to become a better person, you hang around with good people. So, and there's also another thing. So if you sit in a barber shop, you'll end up getting a haircut eventually. You'll end up getting a haircut if you stay long enough in a barber shop. So if you stay long enough in the Association of Devotees, you can change.
I'll get a haircut.
Yeah, or get a haircut. Yeah, yeah.
He can't have a haircut.
I can have a shika, bro.
Yes.
Thank you.
My question is, Prabhu, BHN Prabhu, is that we're talking about the doctors, we're talking about the medicine, but the doctor also get ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can also be they're on the same level as like we feel. So how can I trust them?
Well, you're trusting in the process, the transformation. It's like we trust in people because they have some faith. So faith is actually passed down, right? Someone has faith in the process. They practice the process. They've had a transformation. They tell me to practice the process, and they'll say, you'll also transform. And when I start practicing the process, I feel and experience some transformation. And because I'm experiencing that, I can also say to somebody else, hold on, I promise you will experience this transformation because I've experienced it. Someone else has experienced it. And because everyone else is experiencing this transformation, that's why this community exists. If it didn't, there would be no one there, right? There would be, it would just be empty.
Yeah, and it's like, for example, going to a hospital to see a doctor. At the end of the day, consultant, nurse, doctor, midwife, we are all patients at the end of the day. So you as a patient is going to ask for advice or a cure, but it doesn't mean that they are not patients and they get ill. So that doesn't mean that you don't judge. I mean, you don't trust the judgment or the prescription. So they might have the knowledge where to get it from, but it doesn't mean that they do not get ill or they're not facing any disease.
They're not sort of, sorry, please carry on.
No, can I add something here, Prabhuji? You're right, Ananta Prabhu, by saying, that you still feel, the people who are actually coming to the temple, they're also getting ill and they don't seem to be terribly transformed themselves. So what is the point of actually, experimenting with this kind of process? But the thing is, what we need to understand here is that, we are all living in a material world. And in the material world, old age, death, disease does not, spare anyone. So even people who are on the spiritual pathway, they are still going to be affected by those. But when material miseries happen, the distress that we feel, that is different. For people who are not on the spiritual path or who are not taking to Krishna consciousness, to a good degree, they feel the distress. And the distress that the devotee feels is very different to what a materialist feels. Because they will still have the same problems, material problems, but they're not as affected because they take it as Krishna's desire. It is a reaction of the karma that they have done. And so we still see that, people who are pure devotees, they might still get bodily problems, they might get ill, they might, pass away, and they might be seen to be suffering. But, it does not affect their consciousness. They're willing to continue to serve. They are still at bliss and they're still peaceful. It is not the same. How they handle a stressful situation is very different to what a neophyte or a materialistic person handles it. So on the surface it might look okay, they are also struggling and I am also struggling, but it's actually not the same.
Thank you, Mataji. I think let's stop there. I think we need to kind of answer others' questions as well, audience questions as well. So thank you very much, panel members, for making lovely points and making informed points as well by the devotee panel in terms of turning around the questions posed by Maya channel. So now let's come into a real form as devotees, including the Maya panel now, and let's share your realizations and your experiences. Prabhuji, are you going to take the cap off now that you're a devotee again? And share your realizations in terms of how spiritual association has helped you to make a progress in spiritual life. What experiences have you faced? Love your Gauranga. Is it Gauranga, Prabhuji, on your cap?
Gauranga. Gauranga, everyone. I'm enlightened.
Cool.
I love the devotee panel. Wonderful, just amazing answers. I think you've done really well. And I'm a changed person today.
Big Haribol then. So let's move on and share. Sorry,
Maybe
Mataji.
next time, Samantha Mataji will see me in sari as well.
Haribol. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So let's start with the realizations. Share realization. I will go to Narayan Keshav Prabhuji and Radharani Ratiprada Mataji for your realizations.
Yeah, to be honest, it just seemed like I've been writing while they were speaking, because they were spot on from what they said. And with our journey, we found that when you come to a new environment, and all this has been discussed, it takes time to understand people, and for the people to understand you as well. It's a two-way process, and over time, you can build a rapport and a bond with so many people in the organization or in the community of that organization. So just like we have expectations from them, we expect so many things. They have expectations from us. They think, why has this person come here? Is he ready to come here? Because we are going into the deep end. When you go into a temple, you go into the deep end. So are you ready to be there, or should you be, trialing outside or joining some kirtan somewhere else? Like they have kirtan yoga, things like that. Or are you going to come to the deep end? So you come with expectations, but then you should also be willing to listen as well and learn. You come to learn, not to teach anyone. You come to learn from them. So also we've got to remember that we come for a higher purpose. It's not a mundane place that everybody is just coming for a bit of fun. We come for a higher purpose. So all these mundane things about why this and why that, I think you have to just forget about that, because the higher purpose, when you think about the higher purpose, everything else seems mundane in comparison. It's irrelevant. It's not childish. It's not important. Just forget about that. Don't be sensitive. Just stick in there. It's like when you're in a family, you have your misunderstanding. You don't leave the family just over a little misunderstanding. You hold on. If you value it, you will hold on to that family. You will, never give up on your spiritual family. Just hold on to it, and the benefit is huge. And devotee association is so important. If you just hearing online, you don't know, you might be going astray, but nobody there to tell you that you're going astray. Somebody has to twist your ear, even as analogy, to tell you, Prabhu, you can progress by doing this. The seniors are there, they observe you, they tell you that you can take advancement, and take the mercy, serve the seniors, take the mercy, because that will give you advancement in your spiritual, not just by sitting in front of a screen. That you won't get that. You have to serve the Vaishnavas. Yeah, you have to have jiva there, and you have to relish the holy name. That's what the Lord Chaitanya has told us. And there's a quick example of Bharat Maharaj, because he didn't take association of the devotees, and such a high caliber devotee of the Lord, and even he went astray, fell in love with the deer. Nobody was there to tell him off. And then when he came back again as a deer himself, then he was outside an ashram. He realized his mistake, that he has to take association of devotees, and that is very, very important for your bhakti. You can't do it on your own. It's just not possible.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for summarizing all of that. Thanks a lot. I just wanted to announce that, dear audience, please do cast your vote. I've already sent the links. We've received only 5 votes, but if all of you can vote, then that'll be great. That'll be a great feedback to us in terms of how we improve our debates and improve our discussion. So please do feedback, vote. The link is in the chat. So Radharani Mataji, what is your personal realization and reflection in terms of what you've been through and how spiritual association has helped you?
Look at me, all of you. I've got tilak already. Look, you all have converted me. Jokes apart. Well, this has been the most blissful time of my life, spending the time in the Krishna consciousness among the devotee association. I've learned so much. And when I joined, I couldn't cook for more than 6 or 7 people in one go. And within a year, I was cooking for 200 people. So isn't that something you only do in Krishna consciousness, for Krishna? Life has become simple. Definitely, there's no onion garlic smell in the house, less shopping every weekend. also I've seen that, I've learned that Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is the ultimate authority. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. And there are challenges, there are problems like they were before joining the Krishna consciousness. They are there, but there is an anchor to fall back on now, which is Krishna. So this is the immense change I have observed. And another thing I would say is I have learned that how limited we are in terms of time, in terms of resources, and Krishna, he is unlimited. And everything belongs to Krishna, whether it's living or non-living. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 4, it says, Bhinna Prakritir Ashtadha. Krishna says that everything is my energy. I wasn't familiar with all this before I joined Krishna consciousness. I had read Bhagavad Gita, but there was no Prabhupada purports, and there were no Shiksha Gurus giving lectures and explaining, and not just explaining, but answering my questions. This is the biggest difference I found in Krishna consciousness, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada for bringing the Krishna consciousness to the masses. And I also learned from Bhagavad Gita to do my duty without attachment and give the results to the Lord, which was totally unknown territory to me before. And this is from chapter 5, verse 10 of Bhagavad Gita. And lastly, I would say that Krishna has assured me himself, never mind the devotees association, never mind the seniors, the mentors, the peers, or even the new ones who come with so many lovely questions to the temple. Krishna has assured me personally, not just me, the whole humanity, all of his creation. Krishna has assured in verse 66 of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that he says, abandon all the religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarv papebhyo mokshayishami ma shucha. So why would I leave this beautiful journey? I'm going to make many more devotees, as many devotees as I can, as my Guru and Gauranga will empower me, because Gauranga wants me to come, not just myself to him, but he wants to see an entourage of people behind me. So Hari Bol and Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. As the panel members have been discussing, and I've been hearing all of you speaking on your debates and your points that you're making, so I would like to share my realization, if that's okay. So I've been coming into, looking at all these different things, into different sanghas. So my life has been busy, right? And we all have a busy life. There are many challenges, work, home, difficult to manage everything being a full-time working mother. And I definitely do not deny all the questions and, factors that have been raised by the Maya panel. I do not deny them. I personally have faced them as well. But what I have done is I've changed my perspective of looking at things. So what is the focus? Why am I going to a Sangha? Am I going to a Sangha to pick on different things that's happening around me? Am I going to a Sangha to get disturbed by what others are saying to me? Or am I going to the Sangha to focus on my goal, to serve the Lord, to serve the devotees? That's how I changed my perspective. So if you change your perspective, if you've changed your goal, I'm sure you're in a right path, in the right way, and things will happen. The transformation will happen. So the three things that has benefited me by having the spiritual physical association, not a virtual, because we have Sunday Sanghas, we have Kirtan Sangha, we have discussion Sanghas, we have picnics, we have retreats, we have many things happening in ISKCON Birmingham. What has happened to me is that my motivation has increased. Right. So as Nitishri Mataji says, if one person is running a 5 mile, another person is running a 10 miles, then automatically seeing the other devotees, you're constantly motivated. You're reminded of your spiritual goals constantly. So one is motivation. The second is energies. The energies you experience when you're physically present in a Sangha is absolutely divine and blissful. You return home with a peace of mind and possibly an answer to your problem. I have had this. So I've had a very busy life of challenge at work, but when I went into Sangha, it came through in terms of discussion. It came through in terms of my chat with another fellow devotee, right? Or it came in terms of an act that when you see something, you reflect on it and it comes as an answer to you. So Krishna manifests and gives a solution to you in different ways. So if you take one step towards him, he'll take 10 steps towards you. But that is a slow transformation, as all the devotee panel members and all the Maya panel members have mentioned. So motivation, energies. And third thing, if your goal is spiritual and if you're devoted, being in physical spiritual association gets me closer to the Lord. It reminds me, because it's easier for us always to go away from the goal when you're away. But if you constantly keep coming to that physical spiritual association, you're reminded of the practices we should be following. You're constantly, there's a check on your thought process. There's a check on the practices that you're following. There's a check on your lifestyle as well. And you're completely focused. You can come back. You know, it's like people, other devotees are there to help you, direct you in the right goal. That's the whole point. So they're not kind of there to pinpoint you, but then bring you back to where you should be, which is your primary goal. So as in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Canto 7, Chapter 6, verses 20 to 23, realization of the Lord is possible only in the association of devotees. So that's my realization, which I would like to share. Thank you very much. Haribol. Okay, so over to Ananta Prabhu and Madhurima Mataji.
Mataji was going to ask you if the audience has any questions.
Yeah, let's share our realization very quickly, Mataji, and then we Prabhuji, and then we can go to the audience for any questions at all. At the moment, I haven't got any. There's nothing coming through in Slido.
Okay. Yeah, well, I just want to say that, you know, it's a perfect example. When we want to buy anything, or when we want to search for anything, we always when we buy anything, we want to always search about that product. Okay. And we ask the people, those who are actually using those products, and we go and visit and see. Let's, for example, if I want to buy a car and you're having a car, then I will come to you and say, Mataji, can I look at a car? Or yes, how the car is working, what the features are, what the benefits are. So when I come and see that it's working for you, then I say, okay, then that develops a faith. That faith which I have on that product actually grows more stronger. So when that faith grows stronger, then I will buy the product. Then I will actually look after the product. Okay. So same thing happens. This Krishna consciousness is like when we come in bhakti, we always have a faith which is unbalanced. Okay, which is indecisive. So which is always, shall I believe these people? Shall I know? Shall I trust this? Like Nityashri Mataji said about the medicine. And with the medicine, we have to take precautions. So again, I'm going to take a medicine, but I'm not going to take precautions. But when we see these people, those who are taking the medicine, those who are taking the precautions, and they are getting well from all kind of disease, this is where actually it helps. And this is what actually helped me. So when I came, I had loads of questions, right? I had loads of doubts. Why Krishna, right? Why not all the demigods? Why we should be eating all these? Why we should be following the 4 regulatory principles? Why this, why that? So this is what actually the academic knowledge teaches us, is what to do and when to do. Okay, but spiritual knowledge actually teaches us why to do. So when I had this question why, when this question was answered why, that's again, and that was only answered because when I start associating with the devotees. And it's a mercy of the devotees, like all of you mentioned, that the bhakti doesn't come like that. Yeah, the bhakti only comes through the mercy of the devotees. And that's where I'll say, I would like to say my gratitude to all the devotees, those who have been in contact with me, or those who are able to help me and share the knowledge. So I pray for their welfare. I pray that they grow in their spirit, and they may progress in their spirituality, because this is their mercy which has made me to come and speak to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. There is one question from the audience. So thank you very much. The question is, why should we share or preach others about Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam and etc.? Basically, why do we have to share or preach the scriptures? What is the benefit one who preaches would get? Does anybody want to answer the question? Why do we have to preach these scriptures, and what is the benefit for the person who preaches?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, you can, Mataji. Yeah.
Haribol. Nothing is more, dear to Krishna than his devotees. And especially the devotees who preach about Krishna, that is most dearest to Krishna. So why wouldn't you want to preach? Because our end goal is clear, isn't it? Getting closer to Krishna. We don't know, we'll be going back to Godhead in this life or next life, or God knows, maybe 10 lives. So, but we have to try our best. And if what is most dear most to Krishna, if we do that activity, and that can be not just by preaching, as in giving classes, that can be through prasadam, cooking prasadam for the devotees. Because a new person who is coming into the temple first time, or you just meet somebody outside, just if they have tasted the prasad over some time from you, they might be eager to see how it is made, and then slowly they might come to the temple with you one day. It all starts with the prasad, and then slowly you just tell them about Nityananda Prabhu and the Sankirtan movement. You take them to the kirtans and all that. So this is how this journey will carry on. So this is the most dearmost activity to Krishna.
Okay, so Mataji, what you're saying is we have to preach the scriptures to others because that's the most dearest thing for Krishna. And by doing that, we'll get more closer to Krishna, and that will cleanse our heart, mind, and consciousness. Is that what you're saying, Mataji?
Yes, because eventually they will be doing japa as well. It will start with prasadam. We will take ask them to take baby steps. We're not going to give them the hardcore philosophy from Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita straight away, or the Chaitanya Bhagavat, or the Jiva Goswami's written scriptures. They are the very hard. They are like PhD of the PhD kind of thing. But we will start from the, how when we have baby in the house, how we tender, lovingly bring up the baby. Similarly, we are going to give them slowly, because some person might be ready for the philosophy straight away, but most, they start with a journey from prasadam, and someone can take the japa mala on the first encounter, with the devotee. They can be so interested. The prime example is the biggest preacher from ISKCON at the moment, Amog Leela Prabhu. Yeah. He did the 16 rounds in the very first go when he went to the ISKCON temple. He felt challenged because when somebody said to him, you just do one round. He said, how many you do? He asked the other devotee. The other devotee said, we do 16 normally because we are initiated. He felt insulted and he did 16 in one go. So you don't know how much sukriti you are, or how much mercy you have, because whatever good or bad we are getting in our life is due to our karma from the past life or the present. But the devotee care and the mercy of the devotees association is coming directly from Krishna, because it is causeless.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mataji. I'm sure that has answered the question. The next question from our audience is, how to get a friend or a family member back to Krishna consciousness when he or she is put off by the actions of senior devotees? What should be the right way of doing it? So it looks like apparently a friend or a family member has been put off by certain behavior of a senior devotee that they don't want to come back. So how do we get them back? Who would like to answer this? Anybody? Nitishri Mataji?
I can have a go. Mataji, it's not uncommon for people, as we discussed earlier, that when we are in a big community, differences arise, and sometimes people do not always have good experiences. They might always have some bitter experiences, because that's the nature of human beings, in a community or in an association. But I guess, first of all, as Radharani Mataji said, continue to give them prasad in whatever capacity they would accept. Encourage them to not just, be completely dissociated, but if they can continue to hear and chant, because that itself is purifying. And at some point, maybe involving a senior mentor, if that's possible, who might be able to take this issue as to what's put them off. And, rather than disregarding their concerns and saying, okay, whatever you're saying is actually wrong, that might actually put the person off, because that would mean, that whatever the concerns that they had, they were disregarded, or they might not have felt, valued when they were there. So for them to feel valued, it is important to acknowledge the differences that they have, or the points that they're unhappy about. So maybe, somebody senior who might be able to talk to them and give them some personal time, that might be a way forward. to start off with, and then see how receptive they are. But at the same time, sometimes, we should not rush into, bringing them back as well, and just pray to Krishna and Guru and Gauranga. With time, time is a big healer, and they might make the desire, they might have the desire to come back themselves. So we have to kind of respect that as well, but at the same time facilitate and help them as much as possible as devotees to get them back into the family of ISKCON.
Thank you, Nitish Mataji. I probably would also add that to try and change their perspective in the sense that what is important to them, why they want to kind of change their focus. If their focus is spiritual life, if their focus is to move ahead in Krishna consciousness, why should somebody else's behavior impact their life? Why are they letting it impact their Krishna conscious journey? So try to talk to them, using the help of senior devotees, maybe try and change their perspective. So that's what I would like to add. Thank you very much, all panel members. What I would like to do now is open it to the audience to share their realizations, if they have any, as to how spiritual association has helped them. I'm sure many of you have been going to Sunday Sangha or any other Sangha, Kirtan, discussion Sangha, or anything else. Please unmute yourself and please open up and share your experience with us. I'm sure all the panel members would like to hear from the audience. Anybody? Would you like to put your hand up so that we can call out your name? Otherwise, I'll start calling somebody's name. Okay. Rajalakshmi Mataji, would you like to share your realization?
Hari Bol. Sorry, I've joined a bit late. Yes, for me, association has been like the life and soul of my entire spiritual journey. Every time I felt like, I was not my inspiration or my encouragement, my personal, enthusiasm, not inspiration, but enthusiasm to read books or listen has been a bit down. And every time I went to the temple, when you hear others that, okay, this is what I've heard, this is what I've done, the association has rubbed off. I felt like, I'm in the, I again got the inspiration back to read, chant, everything. To be honest, it's been every day. There isn't a day that goes by when I don't think of a devotee or who has inspired me in my spiritual journey. So the Sunday Sanghas have been the life of my entire spiritual journey in the last 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. Anybody else who would like to share their realization in terms of how spiritual association has helped you in improving your devotional life? Anybody else? Please put your hand up and then we can call your name out. I think there's a devotee in the audience was answered the first question raised by someone as to why you have to share Bhagavad Gita or preach Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. The devotee has added, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. That's the reason you should explain this. And at the end, he will come back to me. He will go back to Godhead. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Okay, there is someone else. Ishani Mataji, Ishani Madhvi Mataji, would you like to unmute?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much, Harini Mataji, for this opportunity. Yes, this has been a wonderful experience for me because I've learned many things from the devotees and for the devotees, for Krishna. Everything I'm able to find out what is there inside me through association. I never knew that what are the things I can do perfectly, try to do perfectly, and what are my shortcomings to overcome them. And yes, association has taught me a lot, many embarrassments, many forgiveness, and everything, every emotion. My every gratitude is towards all the devotees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Dear audience, please to rate the debate. We've received only 9 votes because if you rate the debate, we would know, how we've done. And it's a great feedback to us to try and continue our service to you. So please continue to rate us. The poll is open and will be open for a while. Is there anybody else who would like to share their realization? Please. Please feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to just call out anybody's name. Kajal Mataji, would you like to share your realization?
Hare Krishna, I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting that you'd pick me, but it's good. Definitely association is needed. Otherwise, we are really like a ship without a sail in this material world, and we are found floundering and really sinking. And without having these really inspiring devotees, and they're always so loving, guiding you, helping you, advising you. And the main thing is you can just trust them. I trust each and every devotee, and I know that if there's anything I want to ask, I can without a doubt just pick up the phone or say something and ask, and I know I'll get the correct advice. It's all just because I know they have that love and faith in Krishna, and this is what I want in me, and they really inspire me, and I hope that I can do much more, much sooner than I'm doing at this slow pace that I am. But I'm just very indebted to all the devotees, and I'm so thankful to Krishna to showing me this path in this human birth at least. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing that. Okay, one last one. Parveen Mataji, would you like to share your realization?
Hari Bol, Mataji. Thank you so much, first of all, and for conducting it, and the panels, both of them. And yes, association's been so great, Mataji. And I'm still learning the alphabets, but I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the association. I think it's a Nitya Amrita Mataji, because they used to have like Friday sanghas at their home. And we used to go, and it was just like, so attractive. And I started chanting 16 rounds straight away, and I said, oh my God, what am I missing? Because when I moved to Birmingham, and I was thinking, this place is not spiritual. I was doing much better in Nottingham, but it was like hard 8 years. I was so close to so many lovely devotees, and I need lots of mercy from all of you. And thank you so much for organizing all this, and the energy we feel when we come to the Sangha, it's, you can't explain. And like we're saying, we have to remember our goal if anything happens, because sometimes I feel down, but I always then focus on what is my goal. It's Krishna. And then, and reading, and Srila Prabhupada, is given us so much. We are so blessed to have, the books and everything. So otherwise I was wasting my life. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, audience, I think let's conclude here. The link to rate our debate is live, so please continue to rate us. It will be live for a while. And I would like to thank the panel members, both Maya and the devotee panel members, who have put an incredible effort and who've been very enthusiastic for the past couple of weeks and have been asking a lot of questions to each other, and have dedicatedly been focused in getting this debate out and making it a much more, good discussion, a fruitful discussion for all of us, so that we can reflect and we can learn from each other, most importantly, and a lot of wonderful points have come out. So thank you to Narayan Keshav Prabhuji, Radharani Mataji, Nitishri Madhvi Mataji, Ananta Prabhu and Madhurima Mataji, and Samantra Mataji and Birachandra Prabhu. I think let's look at the bigger picture, and we all have to nurture the attitude of being devotees, forgiveness, patience, tolerance, and determination and dedication. I always think of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj as to how much sacrifices they have made in moving ahead, and not think about what others have done or said, or problems or challenges they have faced, but only focused on progressing towards devotional life. If there are any final words that anyone wants to convey in the panel, please do
Yes.
so.
Yes, thank you so much. I think you're doing a wonderful job controlling both sides and explaining this nicely. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed today's session. And my final word to the listener would be, please give Casey a chance, give Krishna consciousness a chance, and you'll notice the divine qualities manifest. And in fact, you'll notice the divine qualities in others. It's how we see things. If the window is dirty, then you're only going to see dirty things. Let's clean our own hearts, because remember, the connection or your journey is between you and Krishna, first of all. It's even if you don't get on with people, remember the bhakti is about you and Krishna. At that time, sometimes you have to think, if things get really rough and they get tough, then you just think, well, it's between me and Krishna. Until then, you see things get better as well. It's all about humility. We build that humility, build the tolerance, and so many qualities we can build. It's all about, a personal character and practical behavior that will take us forward. It's very important to work on ourselves. Instead of just looking outwards, let's look inwards as well, how we can improve ourselves.
And Harini Mataji, can I just say one little thing? It's just that we all are souls, part and parcel of Krishna. As devotees, we know this by heart now. I know that, I'm sure all of us know these words of Prabhupada in the purpose by heart. Why we are concerned with the outer body, which is just is like a cloth for the soul. So we are thinking, whatever we, as in the Maya panel, we were putting forward, were all related to the outer body, which is going to be left behind. And the soul is like a baby. It's always happy, no matter you're a 90-year-old or you're a 9-month-old child or a 9 days old child. Soul is ever happy. So why we are so much concerned with the the dualities of this and that, which are all temporary, which are going by just like that, as the days goes and as the years are going. So we have to nurture our souls, which are the property of Krishna, and they are longing to go back to Krishna. So let us put all the differences behind, whatever differences we have in the congregation with anyone. Let us solve them. If we can't just seek senior mentors or the help of the gurus, and I'm sure we can make our temple, one of the favorite temples for Krishna. I would say Krishna would say, look at the Birmingham temple. The most dear devotees of mine are from Birmingham temple. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you, Mataji. Madhurima Mataji, Ananta Prabhu, would you like to say any final words?
I was going to ask you before we close this. So can I just say for even 2 minutes? I won't take too long. I just wanted to apologize first, because one of the offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagate this Krishna consciousness. And my role today was in the Maya panel, and I was saying the things against the devotees, and which they were just for the sake of this debate. And it's nothing to, because I wouldn't have been here if there wouldn't have been devotees in my life. So it's the devotees association which is there, which cleanses the dust in our hearts, which has been there for so long. All the malices which are there, they won't go without the association of the devotees. We can read the scriptures, but just by reading the scriptures, we won't get anything, unless, because everyone has said that only a devotee can give a devotion, only a bhakta can give a bhakti, and we won't get it otherwise. It doesn't come from our sukriti. Only unless a devotee gives their mercy to us, we will get the devotion to the Lord. When the devotees engage us in rendering the services, we were talking about, Samantha Mataji was talking about the garland service, and how when you put in your heart and soul, but then somebody tells you, but that's for your own benefit. So somebody like many years ago, maybe a devotee, they engaged me in making a garland, and today, like Radharani has engaged me in garland seva. So that's because of the devotee. If the devotee never gave me that service, I would have never done it. So it's, if we I think my family, we are indebted to the devotees there because of their association. They have given a purpose to our life. They have given the direction to our life. They have told, because of their association, we have understood that what is our soul, our whole like goal of this life, what is the purpose of this life. And because of them, I personally feel more at peace, and I feel more equipped. I feel better equipped to deal with all the setbacks, because the setbacks will be there. But it's just like Nityashri Mataji was also saying, that it's our consciousness, it's our perspective, how we deal with them. And that has definitely changed in me as well. And it's all because of the Devotees Association. So thank you everyone for your wonderful association. I pray that I always get your association.
Thank you, Mataji. We also pray that we get
All I want to add is this again, please forgive me for the offenses I committed, Lord of His of Devotee, by coming to the Maya panel. And I did pray to Krishna, please forgive me before we even start. Okay, I just want to add on is that, okay, see, all of us, we like watching sports. Any game we watch, cricket, football, anything we watch, the lesson to be learned is that it's not a single person effort. It's a teamwork. Same thing is a devotion, is also teamwork. Temple is a teamwork. So if you want to win this Maya, right? If you want to win this, come out of this cycle of birth and death, we need to help each other. Without helping each other, we can't win. So it's very important, just not taking it personally. Oh, yes, somebody says like that. So one player is not playing properly, doesn't mean that we don't play our role properly. We have to bring that person back to this original form. Yeah, we need to make that person help each other. So it's a game where we have to help each other. Otherwise, we can't win. So, and we can only win is by helping each other and keeping association of each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Samantra Mataji and Veerchandra Prabhu. Nityashri Mataji will come back to you. Definitely.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thanks, Harina Mataji, for organizing the Sangha, and the devotees for being on the opposing side, although definitely more senior than myself and Samantra. So we should have been on the other side, actually. I was saying that point before we started the Sangha. But yes, absolutely, like, philosophy aside, being with devotees and associating with devotees and having a genuine relationship with devotees has been transformative for my life. So I'm really grateful for the devotees. That's just simple as that, Mataji, just very grateful for the association. Since this topic's about the power of association, it's very powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, just to echo what all the devotees have said, like devotee association is very powerful. Through the association of different devotees, I have become more inspired. I have learned just by the association how to improve. I see very nice qualities in some devotees that I aspire to. There's also like like service attitude that you learn from it. And for example, when we have had different sanghas or sannyasins visiting, you realize how important is the devotee association and working together, because without that we cannot move. We cannot achieve our goal. For example, when we have a guest sannyasi coming over, you need the whole community to cook for a sannyasi. And it's very nice to see how everyone, even the smallest service, we might say, oh, that's very small service, it's not very, anyone can do it, it's gonna go unnoticed, but every small service and all the attitude and all the love that goes towards performing that service is very inspiring, and is without the devotees we wouldn't be where we are. And
I think it just comes down to like spiritual maturity as well, Mataji. It's like on my journey, I was quite immature when I started. I've seen other devotees that are quite mature. I've been inspired by their maturity, and I'm trying to also be mature in my service. And that comes with time too. So just very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you both. And finally, our dearest Nityashri Madhavi Mataji.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Harini Mataji, and all the panel members for, giving me this opportunity to serve. And as Veerchandra Prabhu said earlier, that I should have been on the other side. I more want to learn from the senior devotees, Narayan Keshav Prabhu, Radharani Mataji, and, Madhurima Mataji, Anand Prabhu, whom I see, both as friends and mentors for myself, and who are both senior to me in devotional practice. But having also, with the association, I felt, from my line of work, especially when COVID came, I saw so many people suffering with depression and stuff. And now also I see so many people as they're getting older, there is a department for loneliness, or a minister for loneliness has been appointed by the government as well in the UK. But me and once, Raj Lakshmi Mataji was saying, that this is something that we should not fear, because no matter how old we get, as long as we are in the association, we are always short of time. So even when kids leave and we retire, there's always something to look forward to. And that is because of the association of the devotees, that life seems to be much more fulfilling. And I'm hoping, that with the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, I would never be, bereft or left behind without the association. So just pray at all of your lotus feet that please continue to bless me with your association.
Thank you. Thank you very much, all the panel members. I'm extremely grateful to all of you, and I seek your blessing so that I can do more better. And thank you very much for being part of this. And thank you to the audience as well for coming this evening and blessing us with your presence and giving us your association. I think to end this, I'll say to the spiritual association, I have got my family I've been looking for a very long time. So thank you, ISKCON Birmingham. Your spiritual association has been very blissful and peaceful, and we'll continue to associate with each other. So let's say Gauranga and end this debate. Narayankesha Prabhuji, you can say Gauranga because you are the most senior, and we will follow you.
Gauranga, everyone. Hari Hari.
Gauranga. Hari Bol. Thank you.
The praise Vancha Kalpa Tarubhesha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you soon. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.